Okay, so this is a continuation, or better yet, I'm going to start this project over from the beginning, just so I can walk you through the steps for those who actually missed it. I think one of the last things I told you was that we're going to be using the library that's in Google Classroom that I gave you in order to find some of our windows and doors. And since we have those, I'm going to uh, kind of breeze through that section of it. So under the library links, you're just going to go here and you'll pretty much find whatever it is that I tell you to go look for, such as windows, doors, title blocks later on, furniture, lighting, and in the Revit 2024, the newer library, pretty much the same thing. It's expanded a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. So, with that said, I'm going to start this project over or start a new one. I'm just going to do a new project and I'll save this one. And I'm going to use an Imperial architectural template. And I'm going to keep this as a project and not a project template. And hit OK. Okay, so within this section here, we're going to create some walls. And I'm just going to start with generic walls for right now. And so I'm just going to click on wall. And I can just go ahead and make it 22 feet all the way around. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So I'm just going to go 22 feet clockwise, which will give us roughly about 19 feet on the inside. I think that's straight. I hope so. All right. So in doing so, that creates a 3D building at the same time. Right now, the walls are 20 feet tall. So I'm just going to change those down to an unconnected height of 9 feet. And from this 3D view, I'm going to turn my shading on. So I'll just see just that. All right, so while I'm in this 3D view, I'm going to do something I didn't do before, which is I'm just going to go ahead and add my flooring underneath the bottom. So I'm just going to go to the architecture tab and I'm going to click on floor. And I'm going to hit the drop down and I'm going to choose wood joists, floor finish, and I'm going to use this rectangle tool here. And I'm just going to go from one corner to the next. Then I'm going to hit OK. And that's going to put me a floor on the inside like so. All right, so from here, just going to go back to level one. Now, the good thing about this is that you can go back and forth between the levels. This is to the one that we're already working on. So I'm going to close that up. And this is the one I'm working on now. So if you have two projects open, it can get a little confusing about which level that you have open. So I'm going to put in a door. In fact, two of them. And depending upon which side of the wall that I'm on, depends upon where the door is going to go. And if I need to flip the door, I can simply hit the space bar, flip the door. And we'll put another one up here, and then we'll flip the door this way. So the good thing about this program is that it automatically cuts the holes in the doors, in the walls for you. So then that gives me what I'm looking for. And I'm gonna go back to level one. And I can double click on level one over here, or I can also use the tab. And it does the exact same thing. I think the tabs are actually easier to operate than having to go over here to look for things. So even if you had like 10 views open up here, you can bounce back and forth between the tabs rather than having to go over here and try to search up and down through your project browser here. All right, so next I'm going to put in some windows. And I'm going to hit the drop down. And I'm going to choose the 30 by 48 window or 46 windows. And this time I'm going to choose the outside edge of the walls. and I'm gonna try to balance these out kind of evenly. And there's a way to actually do it later on. Make sure all three of them are at the same distance. But we won't worry about that for right now. All right, so I got my three windows in, and next I'm going to put in my ceiling. So I'm gonna go to level 2 or level 1 for my ceiling, and I'm going to go to architecture, ceiling, and I'm gonna hit the drop down, and I'm gonna choose GWB on metal stud, and I'm just gonna pick inside of this room, and it's gonna give me an automatic ceiling. So if you want to take a look at it, because it may look like you're not actually doing anything, but actually in reality you actually are. So that gives me my ceiling. I got my floor. I got my windows in, and after that, if you want to look on the inside, you can turn the ceiling off, and it doesn't go anywhere. So if you do VG on your keyboard, or you go to View and go to Visibility Graphics, which is a shortcut, you can uncheck the ceiling, hit Apply, and you'll still be able to see on the inside of your building. So you'll do the same thing with the roof. All right, so with the roof, which is our next step, we're going to go to level 2 on our floor plan. And I'm going to choose architecture, roof. At the drop down, I'm going to choose wood rafter 8. And I'm going to set my overhang to 1 foot. And I'm just going to choose the outside edge of my walls. Make sure you don't choose the inside edge because the roof will go to the wrong side. All right, and I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to undefine the slope for the top and the bottom lines because those two I want the peaks to be at. And then I'm going to set my roof pitch to a 412. And I'm going to hit apply. You hit okay. So now you're gonna get this. Now your roof is floating, and the reason that it's floating is because even though we set the wall heights to 9, the level for level 2 is actually 10. So we're gonna just quickly change that. I'm gonna drag these inward because they're out too far. All right, so I'm gonna change this 10 feet here to 9 feet. Then my roof is gonna drop down and then be where it's supposed to be at. All right, so from here, I'm going to attach my walls to the roof. So I'm going to click on the wall. I'm going to click on attach top base, select the roof. And then I'm going to spin it around and do the same thing on the back side. So I'm going to click on the wall, attach top base, select the roof, and that's going to create that gable. So we actually are going to put some gable vents up there. So since this is just a generic door, we're going to change this door to a exterior door. So this is where your library comes in handy. And I'm gonna go to doors. And in this particular one, it has the difference between residential and commercial. But you don't have to.
Miss Nathan, if you please come to the front office for a moment. Miss Nathan, please see KB Jackson before you leave today. Thank you.
You don't have to actually go to this 2024 library, but it is separated, and it does make it a little bit easier to find what you're looking for. So I'm going to choose this single entry half flat door, and I'm going to download it. So this is exterior door. Now, in Revit, I'm going to bring up my file folder, go to downloads, and I'm going to choose that door, and I'm going to bring it in. Well, I can't bring it in because it's saved. It's made in an earlier version, in the newest version, and this is the older version. So I will have to actually use that other library. So I have to go back. So much for the new so much for the new library. All right, so I think the one that we used was door. Mm, wasn't double acting. Let me find it. You're looking without the preview. It's hard to know which one is which. All right, those are panel doors. That's a sliding. Mm, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the double glass for right now. Yeah, I'll just go with this one for right now. I may be in the wrong library. I think I am. So I may have to back out of this one. That's probably why I can't find what I'm looking for. Because I think we chose we chose this one, single decorative two. So I'm going to download that one. All right, so I'm gonna bring Revit back up and bring the file folder back up. And I'm going to download. I'm going to drag this over, and this one is done the 2013 version, so we're good. So it's going to go in this version. So I'm just going to pop it right there for temporary, and then I can either use match type, which means I go here, click on this one, select this door, and select this one, or click on this door, the one that was there. I hit undo first. I can click on this door, and then come over here, hit the drop down, and go to the category that I just brought in, and then choose the correct door. All right, so this door is going to come out, and on the back side, this door is going to also change. All right, so technically we need a window, but it's not a window. It's really a vent. So we're going to use a vent if we can find it. I think it's called louver. Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong category. Should be a Windows. All right. So let's find. There we go. Louvers with trim. So we're going to download that one. All right. So we're going to bring Revit back up, and we're going to go to uh, south and the north elevation. If your text is like super big like this, if you like, you can change the scale. Because right now the scale is set to 1/8, and that's relatively small. But if you set it to 1/4, you'll see that the text changes size. So anytime that you're using Revit, the text responds to the scale. So that's always a good thing to remember. All right, the smaller the scale, the bigger the text, and the bigger the scale, the smaller the text gets. All right, so we're gonna do the same as we did before. We're gonna bring that louver in. And lucky us, it's in 2013 version. And the good thing is once these are loaded, they're always loaded unless you purge the system. And that's not something that I ever do on often anyway. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to window, and it's going to go back and select that same one that I had before. And scales and in doors and windows and views and so forth, they're all independent upon the on the view. So I'm going to attach the walls in here. All right. So now this is pretty much where we left off at. So what I'm going to do is actually change one of these walls. So I am going to turn the floor off. So I'm just going to type in VG on the keyboard, scroll down the floors, because the floors kind of get in the way when you're doing things. So I'm going to turn the floor off in this view. Now the floor doesn't turn off in any other view but this one. In the 3D view, it's still going to be there. Wrong view. That one. So yeah, the floor is still going to be there. All right. So we're going to go back to level 1, and I'm going to change the exterior wall. So this is where we left off at. So we're going to edit the type. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to rename it exterior wall. I'm going to hit OK. Edit type. I'm going to change this from an 8 to a 6, because if we're going to use 2x6s for the wall instead of 2x8s. And then I'm going to add a layer by clicking on insert. Now this new layer that's being inserted, it is going to be a finish layer. And then the category is going to be wood. I'm going to use clad siding, clad white. And some of your, when some of you click on it, it's going to be on this tab. So you have to click on the graphics tab. And then for the foreground, we're going to use horizontal. And for the background, you can change it also to the same thing. I don't think it really makes a difference if you change both of them, but some of you might be having some issues. All right, we're going to hit apply. We're going to hit OK. And we're going to change our thickness to 1. So the 1's just going to be a representative of a 1/2 inch of siding, 1/2 inch of wall sheathing, the vapor barrier, and everything else. So it's just going to be all kind of incorporated into one measurement. So we're not going to worry about trying to separate it. All right, so if we want to change our studs here, so let's go with stud. We're going to do metal stud layer for that. Then we're going to hit OK. And then we're going to hit OK again. All right. It didn't look like it really did anything, but theoretically it did. So it changed that wall and it put siding on it. So I can either match this, the other walls to this, or click on the wall and hit the drop down here. And 9 times out of 10, it's docked at the bottom on the most recently used. And then that's another easy way of actually finding stuff. And the good thing about this program is that you can actually search things in the toolbar. So let's say, for instance, that I didn't know what I was looking for. I can always do, and I knew what I was looking for, but I couldn't find it. So I can always type in exterior, and then everything with exterior that has the word exterior in it will pop up. So then it'll be much easier to find. All right, so now we got our complete building so far. All right, I need to check my timing here. All right, so we're right at almost 20 minutes. All right, so from here, we're going to add in some cabinetry and then along this wall here. So I'm going to go to my. Well, I tell you what. Yeah. Well, we can add some cabinetry. So we're gonna here. Go to casework, base cabinets, and I'm just gonna download several of these. And I think I'm gonna do like a tall cabinet. I'm not gonna do a vanity. Those are bathrooms. I'll do a corner. Mm, all right. I think that might be good enough. So the good thing about once they're loaded in, they come in several different sizes, and that's the good thing because then you can kind of mix and match the cabinetry however you need it. So I'm going to architecture. Um, in fact, I'm not even going to do load component. But normally you do load component, load family, and then if you had the library, then you could actually pick from the library. But since you don't have the library loaded just yet, you have to go online to get it. But show you the difference between using the one online and using this one. So I'm doing base cabinets. I can actually put it on a view and put thumbnails on, and I can actually see those particular cabinets as compared to downloading it and then having to try to guess what it is before I put it in. So I'm just gonna grab a few of these. In fact, I'm gonna grab a few of them at a time by holding down the shift key, and I'm gonna drag them over and I'm gonna drop them. And it's gonna load all of them into the project. So now when I go to component, I'll have some cabinets loaded and they come in different sizes. So let's just say I'm gonna put in, I guess I'll put one in here. So I'm almost gonna make like a little TV stand using these cabinets. And then I'm gonna put a couple of big ones in the middle. So I'm basically gonna use kitchen cabinets for furniture. Here's a corner unit. So I'm gonna go with these 24s. So I'm gonna put in a couple of 24s. Now, where the mouse is on here is the back of the cabinet. So you'll have to hit the space bar to flip it around. I'm gonna put those up together. You have to move things around. You can actually select all of them at one time. Use the move tool and move them down. You can also use the arrow keys on the keyboard. So that's going to give me my little cabinets. And what I'm going to do next is go back to the website and I'm going to choose a tall cabinet. If I can find one. It looks like they're all single door. So let's see where we at. Countertops. Oh, we need a count. Oh, there we are. It's got its own category. Duh. All right. So we're going to do cabinet built in 2-door. We're going to download that one. We'll go back to casework. I'm going to go to countertops. And I'm just going to use a regular countertop without a sink. L shape. Let's see on the L sheet. Oh, there we go. That one. All right. So we'll pull Revit back up. And I'm going to put those tall cabinets in first. And I'm gonna go ahead and load the countertop too. So I just drag those two over. I'll go to component. There's my countertop. I'll just pop it right there. And I'll do component, pop down. And instead of doing all this scrolling right here in the search, I'll just do tall cabinet. And I'll do the 27. Well, I'll do the 24 inches. And then I'll flip it around. And I'll put one on each end. Now I can take my countertop, rotate, and then I'm going to put my countertop in between those. Pretty much a perfect fit. All right, so we're going to take a look at it in the 3D, and we're going to turn the roof off. PG. Apply. So, there we go. And oh, that's perfect. All right, so this will be a little spot that we can kind of put some TVs on, then some storage, then storage over here. So that's we'll use that. All right. So won't have any water in here. This is gonna be more like a little man cave, she shed type thing. Then we'll go back to level 1. And then our next step, we're just gonna tag the room. So we can go to architecture. And we're gonna click on room. Now some of your tags may be missing some stuff. All right, so this is huge. So what we're gonna do is change our scale to 1/4. And we're gonna change our room tag to room tag with area. And we're gonna put that in. All right. Ah, what was that? I'm not sure what that was. All right, so we're going to change the room. So we're going to call it recreational space. All right, I'm going to throw a few dimensions on here. Let me check my timing. So I'm at 28, so I'm going to try to be done at 30, right, this part of it. All right, so we're going to put some dimensions on here. Normally we go about 4 feet out, but we'll drag that out. I'm going to do between there and there. And the other side will be the exact same. So we're not going to put a dimension over on that side. And then we can take a look at it on the inside using the camera. So I'm just going to kind of pop a camera. Take a look around. I can turn the shading on just like I did in the other one. All right, it's a little dark because we don't have any lighting in here, but you kind of get the gist of it. All right, so our next step, we're just going to throw some furniture in there. That's something I probably should have done for I did your dimensions. All right, so the furniture is under the furniture category, so I'm going to let you kind of do that yourself. I'm not going to spend time putting furniture in. But here, where you see where it's kind of unbalanced as far as the look, what we're going to do is nudge these over, kind of give them almost the same distances. So between these two right here, these 3 windows, I did 4'10". Move this over a little bit. Yeah, I just use the arrow keys to nudge those over. gonna put that 2 foot edge. I'll do 3'6", 5'2", 5'3", 5'4", 2'9", and then that'll give it a little bit more balanced look. And I'll turn the roof back on. BG. Hit apply. And there we go. All right, so that's where we are for right now. So make sure you save. And I usually create a folder for every project because it keeps all of the backup files together. So we're gonna do additional space. All right, so the next video we'll do documentation. Well, we'll put it on the sheet, show the different views. It won't be as long as this one. All right, so that's it for this.